So back in March, Apple announced the Apple Card, and I got it, and I'm about 2 months into using it, and I actually love this thing, so I'm going to give you a full review of why I love this card. So first off, it comes in this cool packaging. It's like this, and then you pull out this classic type of Apple sleeve, and then you open this up, and there's the card right there. And this is just really sturdy packaging. It feels like a total Apple product when you're opening it, even though it's free. It's a free card. There's no annual fees or anything associated with this card. And then you'll notice right away that this thing is titanium. It's the thickest card I have and definitely the most sturdy. Doesn't bend at all. It's pretty awesome. And I will admit, part of having this card, it just feels really cool when you hand it to someone. It's a really simple design, just the Apple logo, my name, and the chip. Then on the back, the two logos for Goldman Sachs, MasterCard, and then you can barely even tell that this is a magnetic strip because it looks totally different. It just looks like a really cool design. It feels like you know what's up and you are really smart and responsible with your money, even though it's a free card and you're just barely paying the minimum every month and you can't afford anything. But before I get into what I love about the card, let me get into the basic details that compare it to every other credit card. So first off, there's no annual fee to hold this card, which is pretty nice. And Apple's very clear that there's no hidden fees. The only possible fee you're going to get is interest if you don't pay on time. And the benefits of this card are that if you use the physical card, you get 1% back on all purchases. So if I go to a gas station and use this card, and if you know my channel, you know that I'm getting a Tesla soon, so hopefully I won't have to do gas stations anymore. But in any case, if I'm going to a gas station or a grocery store and they don't have Apple Pay, I use that card and I get 1% back. Or any online purchases, like I have this on Amazon. Every time I use Amazon, I get 1% back. And the difference here is it's daily cash. It's what Apple calls daily cash. So it actually goes straight into the Cash app the next day. So for example, if I go to the grocery store and spend $100, the next day I have $1 back in my Apple Cash. It's not that great when you look at it like that, but if you're spending a lot of money and using it for most of your stuff, a couple $1,000s every month, and then you get 1% back, you might as well be using it. And then when you use Apple Pay, you get 2% back. So that's double the percentage back, obviously. But it's pretty nice, and Apple Pay is really quick and easy and secure as well. So for example, when I pre-ordered my Tesla, I'll link that up here and in the description below. But I actually got $50 back because I put $2,500 down. That's the pre-order for the Model Y. And so I got $50 back the next day, which was pretty cool. And I just took it and applied it right back to paying that off. But you can do whatever you want with it. And then you get 3% back on all Apple purchases. So this includes services and everything. So if you're paying for Apple Music, if you're paying for iCloud, or if you're buying a new laptop, you get 3% back. I can't imagine that people are buying enough Apple products to where it's like, oh, I have to get this card to get my 3% back, because it's still a very small amount. But I did see over Christmas, Apple was running a deal where if you pay with the Apple Card, you get 6% back. So, if you're already taking advantage of some holiday sales and you're going to go ahead and buy a new laptop, you might as well use that Apple Card and get 6% back, because that's going to actually add up to quite a bit when you're getting a multi-$1,000 laptop. And then there's a few other ones that they support for the 3%. It's like Nike, Uber, T-Mobile, and I think Walgreens. But there's just a few other stores that they support for this. And so it's cool to get 3% back. You might as well. And yeah, those are the basic benefits of having this card. That's pretty much it. And then there's the app itself, which is what I really love about it. Now, the interest rates are not great. They're pretty normal for a credit card. They're anywhere from 12.49% to 23.49%. So this isn't going to be a card that you're going to want to get with the lowest interest rate possible or anything. You're more so getting this card for the features that it has. So the lender for this card is Goldman Sachs. So right there, many of you are just going to close out of this video and be done with it because you hate Goldman Sachs. And that's fine. So they're the lender, Goldman Sachs. That is what it is. But it is still an Apple card and it's through Apple. And they're pretty upfront that they're not going to charge you extra fees and stuff. And I trust them in that regard. And so far, my experience has been great. And then it's an actual MasterCard. So that's the card provider that it's running through. So if somewhere only takes Visa, that's not going to take this card because it's actually a MasterCard. One additional little bonus that I've noticed with this card is because it doesn't have a signature on it, since that seems to be an older thing that they're trying to phase out, you don't actually have to sign whenever you pay places. It prints a receipt where it doesn't leave a place for a signature, but I've had many places ask me to sign anyway because they're not really sure why it didn't ask me to sign. But yeah, that's actually officially, it's not supposed to ask you to sign for this card. All right, so here's the card, and here is the wallet app where the card actually lives. And so I can open up Apple Cash right there, and this is cash back I've gotten on different things. And sometimes it's a little much to get 12 cents a day or $2 a day, but every little bit's cool, and I usually end up cashing it out like every week or so, because then it feels like an actual substantial amount. But this is where it gets really cool. You open this up and it has all of these different features. So it lays out your transactions really clearly, and they talk about how it uses machine learning to get your transactions right, so it's not just a bunch of codes. And it's usually really accurate, like it actually says Sprouts Farmers Market instead of like SP_FMK or something like that. But then let's go into card balance, and you can see how clear it is right here. December spending, new spending, and it lays out each month, and you can open up your statements right there. Super easy to access all that stuff. And then I'll go back, and then you got weekly activity. So this is where you notice it has these different colors based on different things. So you can open each of these and see transactions, and they categorize it, and then you can show merchants, and it's going to show you based on your top spending at different merchants and everything. Payments, I recently did a $1,000 payment on this card, so it shows that. And then it color codes these as well. So you can see purple is entertainment. So right here on Monday, I spent quite a bit on entertainment. And if I go back, it's actually coloring the card based on how much I've done in each category, which is kind of cool, little fancy little feature there. But this is where I really love the card, where you go in right here and you click Pay More. And this is the best part of this card by far, I think. So right here, it shows me very clearly, make payments by 8:59 p.m. on January 31st. I have to pay $327.94, and then I'll get no interest charges. And it shows my whole card balance as well as $1,221.60. So if you scroll this up, it's still showing me it's a good thing. It's no interest charges, it's green. And then it turns blue if I pay the entire thing off. But I don't have to do that by January 31st because these charges have all been from January, and I have a full month to pay them off. But if I go below, it starts calculating interest. So if I were to only pay by January $100, then I get $18.76 of interest on January 31st. So it's really, really clear about this stuff. And you'll get notifications as well as it's coming time for this payment. You'll get notifications that you have to pay it or you're going to get interest, and it's super helpful. But let's say I just want to pay a little bit now. I click Pay Now, and then there it brings up Apple Pay, and it's linked to my card, and it has that payment amount right there. I double click to pay, and I use Apple Pay, and I use Face ID and everything, and it's really, really quick and easy to pay it off. Just make sure you actually have that money in your account. So now let's say I want to pay less. I just scroll this down, and I pay less, and this is always going by 25s until it gets to the exact payoff amount. So if I want to pay $125, that's cool, and I just click Pay Now and do that whole process. But if I want to do a more precise amount, I just click Show Keypad, and I could do like $32.71. It's really, really fast and easy, and you just click Pay Now and you're good. And then there's one more option in here. If you click Pay Later, you can actually schedule a payment based on the day, and it's going to do that amount because that's the amount I chose. But you could also, go Show Keypad, click $32.71, Pay Later, and then choose a date to pay it, and then you're good to go. Pretty awesome and really, really easy to use. On top of this, if you need to use this card, say online or somewhere that actually needs the numbers, you notice there's no numbers on here. So you click these three dots in the wallet app and then show card information. And then it's going to take Face ID, and then it will show you the card details that you can enter on a website or whatever. And it's pretty nice because it's very easily accessible, but only to you because it's very secure. And then it's got all the other features that you have in a bank, but just all in one place, like lock card, request replacement card, all of that stuff. Super easily accessible, all within this app right there in Wallet. And then on top of this, you can click View Network Benefits, and then you can scroll through here and see all the benefits that you get for the Apple Card through MasterCard. And then one thing I forgot to mention is if you go into weekly activity, this was this most recent week, and then it's really easy. You just scroll through each week here and you can see. So right here, I paid a lot on travel, which is why it's green. And you can see the daily cash amounts, all the merchants and everything. It's pretty cool and really clear and really easy to see as opposed to going through a PDF of a statement. Other people's apps are just not quite as easy to control as these, and then you can do monthly as well. See, January, December. If I go back to October, yeah, I just have that one $2,500 transportation charge because it was to Tesla. So it's pretty cool. So that's the Apple Card. And you can actually get the Apple Card and just have it in Apple Pay. You don't actually have to get the physical card, but it's free and you might as well get it. I mean, it's awesome. It's a titanium card and you don't have to pay for it and you already have it. Might as well get it. But again, here's what the packaging looks like. Pretty cool, totally Apple, and the card's sitting right in there. And it's titanium. I don't know, it's cool. One thing I have heard other people say to consider with this card is that Apple is doing all these things to kind of keep you in their ecosystem. You know, they have iCloud now, and then Apple Music, I guess, although many people aren't using Apple Music because Spotify's a lot better. And then on top of that is iMessaging. At this point, if you're a group of friends with a bunch of iPhone users and someone has a green text bubble, it just drives everyone nuts, and everyone hates a green bubble, apparently. So iMessaging is one of those things that just keeps people in the ecosystem. And so it's important to keep in mind that if you get in the habit of using this card all the time, and you get in the habit of using that app, and it's really awesome, and you're used to your daily cash, and then you switch to Android, there's not an equivalent, and you're going to miss this card probably. So just keep that in mind. If you're worried about getting trapped in Apple's ecosystem, then maybe you shouldn't get this awesome titanium card. But if you're not worried about it, then just go ahead and do it. I think it's a great card and it's free. And especially for like your first card or second card, or even if you're just looking for a card with some daily cash benefits. And it's not astounding. It's not like the benefits and the cash back is an incredible bonus for the card. I'm sure there's better cards out there. There's plenty. But the app is something I haven't seen in other cards before, at least not to this extent. I think it's one of the best cards, at least for that, for preventing you from gaining interest, because that's how card makers make their money. And so it's surprising to see someone so actively encouraging you to pay off before you gain interest. So what do you think about the Apple Card? Do you have one, or do you think you're going to get one, or do you think it's just stupid and it's just an Apple thing to flash because Apple's cool and people want to look cool? Let me know what you think of the Apple Card in the comments below, but in the meantime, I'm going to keep using it because I think it's pretty useful.